Why hello, you people from Earth and outer space. It is I, Alexander from the universe. In this episode of Let's Rust, we're going to talk about enumeration. Now, what on earth is this? This is useful when you have a for loop and you want to keep track of the index without doing anything yourself because you're lazy, just like me. We're all very lazy human beings. That is, I don't know. Let's get to this, shall we? Let's say we have a for loop here, whereas we have an x variable, in this case, that spans for the duration of 10 to 20. We say print line, and we print x out by saying x is whatever x is. X is that. When we run this now, it's going to say x is 10, 11, 12, blah, 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 all the way down to 19. But what if we wanted to keep track of the actual index we're in, or the loop? What if we wanted to keep track of the loop index, the current looping, so that we would know that whilst x is 10, the index of the loop is 0, it's the 0th run. And then it's the first run, the second, third, fourth, and so forth. See what I did there? That's so bad. In order for us to do this, you might remember how we could define multiple variables within the same variable binding before. In here, we're going to add a starting parenthesis and an ending one. And before the x prior to it, we're going to make an I variable here. We have two variables that we're defining, I and x. We put brackets around this and type in period enumerate. Now this is a function available on the iterator here, Rust, which we're going to talk more about later, but for now, think of this as a neat way to retrieve the index. All of a sudden, the looping this loop is currently going over will be stored inside the I variable here, whilst this range here will be stored inside the x. So x is still whatever x was. So if we run this now, for example, it's going to say the exact same thing. It's going to say unused. That's true. It's going to say x is 10, blah, blah, blah. But what if we wanted to also print out that? We can do that. We can say upon looping I, when we run this now, it's going to say x is 10 upon looping 0. 1, 2, 3. Wow, it keeps track of that. We didn't need to do anything. It did all of that for us just by tapping period enumerate. So this is a really neat way of keeping track of what index you're on whilst you're in a loop. You can use this with all kinds of cool stuff. You can quickly loop over entire collections of things and still keep track of the index. Usually you need to do this all by yourself in other languages, but in Rust it's really simple. You just do period enumerate and you got all that figured out. Why, goodbye, people from Earth and outer space. Feel free to leave a comment stating something other hilarious or perhaps even a like. Until next time.